Hello, hello. This is Dallas Cohen, the Rebound Coach, and welcome to the Rebound Coach Live. I am very happy that you are here today, whether you are here live with me or you are watching the replay at some other point. I'm very, very glad that our paths have crossed, and I believe that it is no accident that you're watching or you're listening right now. I believe that there is something special for us tonight. I believe that there's a lesson in this for you that will help you move forward and help you get unstuck. Today, we are talking about 3 keys to breaking the cycle of failure. So, I don't know about you guys, but failure can kind of be that thing that we run from more than anything else. You know, kind of like the monkey on your back that kind of makes you push harder than you want to in certain areas. It makes you stay small in other areas, you know, not wanting to fail or not wanting to fail again. And that can keep you stuck. It was keeping me stuck. And what I'm excited to share with you tonight are keys to help you move forward in the things that you want to do in your life. So if you are just coming on and this is the first time that we've gotten to spend some virtual time together, you might be saying, who are you and what exactly is a rebound coach? So coaches, life coaches, help you get unstuck. Other kind of coaches too, help you get unstuck. And so my particular area, I serve high achieving women of faith who've lived through betrayal, trauma, or abuse of any kind and want to reclaim territory in their relationship with themselves. That's a mouthful, but it came out of my own story in my own life. I was married for 10 years to a man who wanted me dead. I'm dead for years. And in January 2020, he left for another woman. And I found out him and that woman had been plotting my murder for a couple months by the time I found out. You know, needless to say, that's kind of a record scratch moment in your life. And you're kind of like, what? How is this my life? It didn't make sense for me. I grew up in a faith-filled home. I had 2 parents. They loved God. They loved each other. They were married for a lifetime. My father was my mother's caretaker. I saw a great example of marriage. At the same time, I was molested from the time I was 8 to the time I was 16. And that radically affects how you see yourself as a young person, how you see God in a household of faith. And for me, how I related to men. Fast forward when I met the man I married and later divorced, there were definitely red flags. There were definitely reasons not to be together. However, as a praying woman, I believed that God was with us. And because I believed God was with us, I believed that whatever would come, we'd be able to withstand it. We'd be able to overcome it. Y'all, trouble came right away. and didn't go away. It kind of cycled in something I call coping in crisis. Like we're barely coping, we're barely making it, and then there's some big awful crisis. And then we recover from that and we go back to barely making it, and then there's some crisis. And we did that for years. As the years went on, the crises became more frequent and worse. So everything kind of came to a head end of 2019, the beginning of 2020. You know, I had found out he left under false pretenses. And I found out what those were. He was with his adulteress, and come to find out they had been planning my harm. So, oh my gosh, you know, everything kind of comes to a head. And ultimately, you know, I had a decision to make. I could allow the identity that my former husband had planned for me and that I had frankly agreed to over the years to tell me who I was allowed to become, how I was allowed to express my faith, how many days I had left on the planet, and what I was worth. You know, what I was worth. I could allow all that to dictate that to me, or I could choose life. So I wrote a book. It's called I Choose Life, Rewrite Your Love Story and Change Your Legacy. And if you identified with any piece of my story, or if not, or if you can see yourself in a cycle of coping in crisis, whether that's with yourself, with a romantic partner, with your kids, with your extended family, with a job, with your health, if you're barely making it and then there's a crisis, and you barely making it and then there's a crisis, there's a way to get off the crazy train. And you can find it in the book I Choose Life. You can find that book at thereboundcoach.com/book. That is thereboundcoach.com/book. And you can get a copy shipped to you from Amazon, or you can get a hard copy that I will physically sign and mail off to you, which I love doing. So just wanted to share with you that's how you can get the book. And that's really how we came to be spending time together today. So you might be saying, yeah, failure. I'd like to stop failing, please. Well, the reality is, failure is a part of success. Failure is a part of the cycle. It's part of life. We don't really get away from it. So the question becomes, how do I break this cycle of failure? How do I get unstuck? So I found myself in this place recently. There's a lot of beautiful, wonderful things going on in my life, personally and professionally. And, I want to press forward as a high achieving woman myself. You always want to do better. You always want to stretch. You always want to do more. And I found myself really overwhelmed. And overwhelm is a place I can be often. In this particular instance, it was pretty severe. It just felt like every direction I wanted to go. So whether that was professionally, personally, relationally, spiritually, even, it felt like every place I wanted to go had 10,000 disconnected steps to get there. And any effort I was making just felt like it was creating more steps. So I was, making effort, but it just made things more. And if I had to paint a picture of it, it felt like I was sitting in a room full of like mounds of cotton. If you've ever seen like big hills, big piles of cotton, it felt like that. And it was so dense that I couldn't move through. I couldn't go in any direction from all this piles of tasks. That's what it felt like to me. And I was just really, 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 really stressed. And I got a chance to talk to a coach. I'm also being coached, even as a coach. Got to talk about some of the things that are going on in my mind and heart, and just kind of, pace things through. And so I wanted to talk about how important it is to do these exercise keys. Now, mind you, this is not exclusive. So, or like all inclusive. That's what I should say. So it's not like these are the only keys it takes, right? But these are foundational keys. These are keys that will get you in the right direction for sure, for sure. And I encourage you to use them, not just hear about them or learn about them, but actually put them into practice. So I'm going to give you 3 keys. Key number 1 to breaking the cycle of failure for your life is know where you're starting from and know where you're going. And that might seem like, duh, of course, I need to know where I'm starting from and know where I'm going. I used to listen to a pastor say, you can't conquer what you don't confront, and you can't confront what you don't identify. It starts with, this is where I am, this is where I want to be, right? Thinking of how you feel about yourself. This is where I am, this is where I want to be. And we spend a lot of time, our society, the people in it, myself included, spend a lot of time escaping. We escape and escape/hide. So we escape from our reality with the media. We escape from our own thoughts with noise and busyness. We escape from, our sadness with love hungers, right? Love hungers as in substances or other people or whatever we busy ourselves with instead of dealing, right? So we spend a lot of time doing that. And because of that, we don't really name and pinpoint even the stuff we want. In the back of our heads, we say, I'd like to have more money. I'd like that. But what does that actually mean? Like, how much? What is it for? What do you intend to do to get it? Right? But we're so distracted, we can't get clear on what it is we want and where it is we currently are. It's another thing people don't like. People don't really do checks as a society in mass anymore. So it used to be where you balance the checkbook every week or every month, right? So we don't really have checkbooks to balance. Not like that. We have a lot of online tools that do that kind of stuff for us. However, there's financial numbers that you can know that maybe you don't. Maybe you don't know what's in your bank account every day. Maybe you don't know how much you're spending on fast food. Maybe you don't know how much you're spending on groceries every month. And you're saying, I'd like more money, but you're not treating the money you have with respect. So, and I'm talking to myself just as loudly as I'm talking with you. So, if we find ourselves in that place where, you're not taking care or you're not respecting the money you have, why do you expect more to be, not a good steward of, right? So same with love, same with attention, same with your physical body and the health that you have. If you're being a good steward of what you have, you get to have more. But if you don't know what it is you're dealing with, how could you possibly be a good steward of that? So it really does start with knowing where you are, knowing where you're going. Here's what I currently feel about myself. Here's what I'd like to feel about myself. Here's where my love life, romantic life currently is. Here's where I'd like it to be. Here's where my relationship with my creator is right now. Here's what I'd like it to be. Don't lie to yourself. It's no use if you lie to yourself. Be honest. Be honest, right? Here's where I am with my business endeavors. Here's where I'd like to be, right? Okay. So pick your head out of the sand, know your money numbers. If you're on a health journey, know your scale number and your measurements and all the stuff. Don't hide. Know your levels. If you need blood work, like whatever it is, know where you are and know where you want to go. That's step 1. Step 2, get moving towards where it is you want to go. So, my youngest daughter is 9 years old. So 9 years ago, I had my second C-section and I was in the hospital and recovering, and there was so much pain. If anyone has had a C-section, it's extremely painful to move, especially in those first couple of days. And so I was in the hospital and I had not moved, and they hook you up so you don't have to move, right? So they give you a little bag where your pee goes and you don't have to move, right? You don't have to go to the bathroom. But they were encouraging me, hey, it's time to get up and move. I need you to go take a walk. I need you to stand up. I need you to move. And I was really afraid because there was so much pain where the incision was, and I didn't want it to rub. I didn't want the friction. I didn't want my body to move because it hurt. The nurses were saying, you need to move. And I was like, ah. And so I sat there, half a day, a whole day. I did not move, and I felt sick and I felt nauseous, and eventually I threw up. And the nurse was like, yeah, see, because if you moved, you wouldn't feel like that. And eventually I did get up and move, and it hurt, but it was better than not. And they were saying how your digestive system, like everything needs to reset, and moving around helps that to happen. You need to poop, you need to fart, you need to move the stuff through your body. See, when you came on this live, you did not know we would say poop and fart. Didn't know that, huh? You talked about all the stuff, but it was important to get moving so my body could reset and I could heal, right? So for many of us, and for myself, even in this season with the struggle I was having, even last week, there are certain things that I'm supposed to say. There's certain things I'm supposed to release, and fear of failure or fear from past failures have kind of held my mouth closed. And I'm the kind of person who likes to sit and observe before making a move. I'm the kind of person who likes to analyze every option, everything that could happen from every angle and every outcome before making a decision. And when I get an unction, a Holy Ghost unction to go do something or say something, I typically will pause instead and think instead. And those things, those words, those messages were piling up in me the same way that in the hospital, it was being stagnant. My body was being stagnant this very same way. And, eventually you feel nauseous and sick, right? Eventually you throw up if you don't get your body moving. So the same for me in these messages, which you will hear if you're hanging out with me. You can hang out with me here on Facebook.com/Rebound Coach or thereboundcoach.com, of course. We're even on Clubhouse. You can always join me on Clubhouse for these chats and the after party. I normally post the link right when I post about this. So all that to say, you got to get moving. You got to get moving. The gifts, the love that's inside of you, the assignments that are inside of you from heaven, the destiny that's inside of you will rot if you don't let it out. And many things have rotted because you've held them in for so long and you feel like it's too late, or you can't, or you've resigned yourself to the life that you're familiar with instead of the life that you desire. And I'm here to tell you, you can have it. If you want that destiny life, you can have it. You can have it. If you want to stick with the life that you're used to, you can have that. But I challenge you, I encourage you not to say you want the great life and behave like you want what you have now. Stop hiding. Stop distracting yourself. Know what it is you're dealing with. Know where you are. Know where you want to be. And get moving. Okay? That's the second key to breaking the cycle of failure in your life, is to get moving. So movement may involve pain from past failures, just like I had explained to you when I was in the hospital with the C-section. It would cause me pain to move. However, it would cause me more pain from not moving. So it might be painful. It might trigger you. It might be scary. You might have to do it without the support you wish you had, but it's still worth doing. Okay? Move anyway. Another thing that's important as you move and while you move, so often we believe we're in a cycle of failure when really we're progressing. Perspective is everything. Perspective is everything. And so, I talk to a lot of Americans. We deal in America. I live in America. And so the problems we have in America are generally first world problems, meaning it's a lot worse in other places in the world. So we are a developed country, and the issues we have are issues that developed countries have. Okay. So I was complaining a bit, and not really. Someone says, Dallas, how you doing? I said, oh, I'm doing well. I've got a lot going on, and I'm kind of pulled in a lot of directions. And my fabulous friend who I spoke that to said, there's a really bad alternative. Like, there could be people who don't want anything that you have to offer and don't want to hear anything you have to say. And you could be a person not in any kind of demand. You have a lot going on and you have lots of things to do because your talents are in demand. That's a blessing, not a curse. What are you complaining about? She didn't say that last sentence, but that was a sentiment. So often the stuff we're complaining about, the stuff we say are failures, the stuff we say, I'm not doing well because of this, that, or the third, whatever that is. In perspective, we're doing amazing. Myself included, man. I'm so blessed. And I'm so blessed, y'all. And I would wager so are you. If you are breathing air in your lungs, you're much better off than the alternative. Okay? You live in a house with air conditioning and or heating. You ate something today and you're likely going to eat something again tomorrow. You're blessed. You have clean water to drink and a roof over your head. You're blessed. You get down the road in a vehicle, you're blessed. You get down the road on your legs, you're blessed. We don't consider those things. We take those things for granted and complain about the gap between where we are and where we want to be, instead of realizing how far we've come from where we used to be and how far up we are, just in general. Okay? Perspective is everything. You can turn things that are beautiful into things that have become monotonous and even burdensome, right? So people who complain about their jobs, would you rather trade places with someone who is unemployed and has no income, right? Who has no means to do the things that you do, whether it's take care of your family or take care of yourself, who can't do that because they're not employed? Like, would you rather trade places with that? Most of us would not. So be thankful for what you have and assign purpose to the tasks in front of you. Okay, not just, I'm just doing this thing. I'm just doing this thing. See purpose. And there is purpose in everything you're doing. And if there isn't, maybe you should be doing something different, right? But seeing value, seeing purpose in the things that are in front of you, that are in your hands to do, doing those things with excellence, right? That helps you break that cycle because you're not complaining anymore and you're not mundane anymore. What you feed will flourish, what you neglect will die. What you feed will flourish, what you neglect will die. The thoughts, the attitude, the identity that you feed will flourish. The thoughts, the ideas, the attitudes you neglect will die. So if you're feeding, oh gosh, I failed again. Oh, that didn't work. I can't believe that I spent all this effort and it did not work again. Like, the more you feed that line of thought, the worse things show up for you. As opposed to, I did really good. I did really, really well. I'm really proud of this because it's one step further than it was before. And I keep getting better every time I try it. I can't wait to do it next time and see how much better it's going to be. Right? Feed. What you feed will flourish. What you neglect will die. Also, I encourage you to see yourself, see your best self moving while you're moving. And it's okay to do it afraid. It's okay to do it intimidated. It's okay to do it in spite of. Like, that's okay. I want you, and maybe you've been doing that for a while. Maybe you are committed to commitment and you're like, listen, I'm supposed to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. But you're trudging and doing it, and it's heavy and you're doing it, and you're frustrated and you're doing it. You're still doing it. You're still doing the steps, but your heart and your attitude is in the opposite direction of your goal. Instead, if you imagine your highest self, your better self, the self that you are becoming, doing those things in power, okay? That's where the energy is. That's where the strength is. That's where the positive emotions are. That's where forward motion is. And saying, I'm not nervous. I'm excited because this is going to be amazing. Nervous and excited feels in your body the same way, right? Nervous happens in your chest. Excited happens in your chest. Happens in your face. Happens. Okay. Same thing. You can decide instead of being nervous to be excited. You literally can decide. Like, you literally can decide. So I encourage you to decide to be excited about your life, to be excited about those things that are in front of you, to be excited and thankful and grateful for your blessings, all of them. Okay. Step number 3, key number 3 to breaking the cycle of failure in your life, involving other people. Okay. Get the movement out of your control. Okay. So, like, what do you mean by that? You said I could choose. What do you mean out of my control? So, we have a comfort zone. Everybody has a comfort zone of what we're comfortable doing, what we're comfortable having, who we're comfortable being around, how much money we're comfortable having, the kinds of jobs we're comfortable with, the kind of family dynamic we're comfortable with, the kind of income level, the kind of home, like you name it. We have a comfort zone. This is it. Our comfort zone. Okay. When an opportunity comes that the success thereof would disrupt this comfort zone, we're generally going to say no to that thing. So a couple opportunities have come my way that I could say yes to. And if I said yes to it, it would disrupt my status quo. It would disrupt my comfort zone. It would disrupt, what I feel, what I'm comfortable with, and what I feel like I could handle, right? It's more than I feel like I could handle. And I had said no a couple of times to a couple different things and really started to examine, like, if I say I want this thing and an opportunity has come that could get me to the thing, it could also not, like, it could go either way, right? Could get me to the thing I say I want, but I'm saying I don't want to try it because of fear. Okay. Do I want to be comfortable or do I want the thing? And so I was praying about that, and the Holy Spirit was like, you can be in control of a little bit, or you can ride the wave and have a lot. I was like, okay, I guess I'm riding the wave. Right? Riding the wave means hands-free. Like, you don't have control over it. You don't understand it all. You can't predict everything. Where's my control freaks at? You can't. You're not gonna be able to anticipate everything that's gonna happen. But you get way more than you could have if you did all of those controlling elements, or you kept it so small. You kept it small enough that you can control it, right? So I'm hoping to inspire you. I'm hoping to inspire you to, even if you just start with dreaming bigger than you have before. And so I want to give you I'm looking to make sure I don't miss. I want to give you a bonus point. So I gave you 3 keys. The 3 keys were: know where you are, know where you want to go. Key number 2 was get moving. Key number 3 was involve other people. You can't do this by yourself. Allow it to allow your dreams to grow wings. Allow it to move faster than you can keep up with. Allow it to get bigger than your hands can carry. And you can bring in other people to help you do the thing. Allow it to grow. Allow it to bloom. Allow it to blossom. Allow it to run wild. This is your life. You don't get another life like this. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to allow it to be? Right? Okay. Key number 4. Bonus key. Self-care. You're like, well, what does self-care have to do with breaking the cycle of failure? So glad you asked. Okay, so self-care is the difference between achieving something well and driving yourself to madness, driving yourself to burnout quickly. Okay. So this is not just about relaxing. This is about not burning yourself out while in the not the pursuit of happiness, in the allowing grace, blessing, ease to flow through. Okay. This is an allowing. This is a relax, an openness, a willingness, a flow, getting in the flow. Okay. Self-care. What exactly do you mean? So, number one, holding grace for yourself and understanding that progress, not perfection, is the goal. And y'all, done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. That has blessed my soul. Done is better than perfect. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Okay. See your progress. See it. Accept the new level that it actually is. So sometimes we can tell ourselves a story. I always do this or I never do that. I always get this or I never get that. Right? So we say those things and they get stuck in our head. So even when we do get the whatever it is, we discount that and say, no, I never get X, Y, and Z. So for example, if you might believe, I never get positive male attention, right? It never happens to me. And someone, you're at a work function and some gentleman says, hey, I like that sweater. That's a great sweater. And you go, oh, this whole thing, oh, we got it at Goodwill. And you keep moving on. In your head, you keep telling yourself, I never get positive male attention. It's always negative, right? But that's not true. Like what's actually true is good things are happening for you. Even that very small thing. You can cherish that, you can nourish that, or you could stomp on it and toss it out and be like, that's not real. I'm going to stick to my story. Okay. So take an audit of the day. Every day, take an audit of the day and think about what fantastic things happened for you in that day. What wonderful things happened for you, and really nourish that. If you've ever been in a romantic relationship, in the beginning, we nourish and we pour attention and affection and love into that other person. We nourish our memories of them, even little small things. He said my sweater was cute. He likes my sweater. Oh, he likes my sweater. Right? So we nourish all those little things. He said, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Right? All the things. He sent that little emoji. Oh, we're nourishing that little bit of attention, that little bit of, intention, right? We're nourishing that little bit and hoping for it to grow. We're blowing on a spark, hoping for it to grow into a flame, to a big fire. Passion, right? Same thing with the good things in our life. Same thing with how we treat money. If you take a penny and you toss it, you're not respecting money, but you can't ask for more if you're not respectful for what you have. Same thing with all the peace that you want, the joy you want, the smiles you want, the friendship you want, the relationships you want, the love, the sex, all of it. If you don't nourish the good that you have, it cannot become more. Okay. So pay attention to what you have. Pay attention to the goodness that exists. Pay attention to the progress that you have already made. Nourish the heck out of that. Pay big attention, celebrate, tell other people, hey, I did this thing. That's kind of a tiny step kind of thing. Yeah, but I did it. Isn't that amazing? All right. So perspective is everything. Also, the opposite of saying no because of fear is saying yes because of faith. Saying yes because of hope. Saying yes because of yes. 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 So I encourage you to just say yes. When opportunities come, say yes. I could lose. It could be bad or it could be great. Either way, you'll learn something amazing and you'll have a new experience. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. It can get out of your hands. Yep. That's what could happen. That's a good thing. All right. So I hope this resonated with you. I hope that you got something that you can use in your life. And please, I encourage you to share with me. You can share right here in the comments, or you can reach out to me at thereboundcoach.com, or on social media, The Rebound Coach. I'd be honored to hear what key to breaking the cycle of failure in your life that you were going to implement. What resonated with you was like, yes, this is for me. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. What is something you might have heard already that just, I needed to hear that again. I really needed to be reminded of that. Share. I'd love to read your comments. I'd love to hear what it is you have to say. Okay. So if you are serious about breaking the cycle of failure in your life, if you've had enough, and you're ready, we have some resources for you. Okay. You can go to thereboundcoach.com and click on swag bag. We have a swag bag that is digital swag, digital resources to help you get unstuck for yourself, for your career, for your love relationship, for your dating relationship, whatever that is, for your marriage, if you're married. We have some tools. We have some gifts for you. So you can find that at thereboundcoach.com. Just over at the top, go down to swag bag and get you some free stuff, yo. All right. So go check that out. And we also have a group on Facebook called the Choose Life Challenge. It's for those of us who are reclaiming territory in our relationship with ourselves and choosing life in every area of our lives. So I invite you to go find that as well. Be happy to see you there. Thanks again for joining me today on the Rebound Coach Live. I'm Dallas Cohen, the Rebound Coach. And until next time, choose life.